For as long as he could remember, the bear had felt nothing but pain and fear. Every day was constant torment, and it only got worse when the darkness swallowed his world. Then, as he felt the sickness spreading inside him, someone approached, and just a little glimmer of hope seemed to spark in his heart until the stranger spoke to him. In February 2013, police and an animal rescue team estimated a settlement close to India's border with Nepal. They were there with the intention of upholding anti-animal cruelty laws that they believed were being violated. And their suspicions were justified. Not only did they find performing bears there, but they also discovered that the animals were being prepped for illegal trafficking across the border. We're all relieved that the bears were rescued and won't be led to certain death. Instead, they now came under the care of Wildlife SOS, a local animal protection organization. In fact, 4 bears were rescued in total. Oreo later renamed Michael Oreo, Truffles, Candy, and Goldie. And it was perhaps the last animal on this list who had suffered the most at the hands of his taskmaster. Indeed, Goldie's tormented life had left him sick and suffering. However, his torture wasn't a recent development. He had known little else in the 5 years of his life. In fact, Goldie's ordeal had begun when he was taken from his mother as a cub. He was then raised into a life of abuse, and all for the personal profit of his handler. Like all of the animals recovered from the camp, Goldie was a sloth bear. There are species only found in India, and the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, classifies the bears as vulnerable on its endangered species list. This has been attributed primarily to hunting and environmental damage. Indeed, Goldie's species has been the target of poachers for hundreds of years, and not just for its meat. The bears were considered tameable by slough bear handlers who often resorted to violent methods to force the animals to perform. And it was clear that the ailing Goldie had been subjected to one such method. Goldie had a length of rope projecting from a hole in his muzzle, according to Liz Key, communications manager at International Animal Rescue, IAR. This horrifying sight is common among performing bears. She discussed the practice during an interview with Dodo in March 2017. When the bears are still tiny cubs, their captors make a hole through the top of their snout with the red-hot needle, she explained. Then the rope is threaded up through their nostril and out through the hole. They make the bear dance by jerking on the rope. Furthermore, the torture continues throughout the bear's lives, since the wound is rarely allowed to heal. Sometimes thorns or even nails are knotted into the rope to cause even more pain, Key added. If the wound heals up, the handlers either reopen it or create a new one. Despite a law being passed in 1972 forbidding the use of dancing bears in India, the regulation hasn't always been enforced.
Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these animal stories every day. Now, back to the story.
And so, in December 2009, Wildlife SOS together with IAR began a crusade to protect these bears, and thankfully their campaign was successful. In fact, to date more than 600 bears have been rescued and sent to IAR-owned sanctuaries. They are overseen jointly by Wildlife SOS and Free the Bears Australia. Goldie, who was sent to the Agra Bear Rescue Center, and his pals were welcome additions to that number. The relief Goldie must have felt when a team extracted the rope from his nose would have been immense. Although the hole in his snout would leave a scar, it would heal in time. However, other wounds required a great deal more attention. In fact, Goldie's health was failing and he needed medical attention quickly. Upon rescue, Goldie was alone and in agony. He was weak with hunger and crippled with pain. Read a post on the IAR Facebook page, and a physical examination revealed further shocking signs of abuse. Goldie's handler made several attempts to knock his teeth out to make him easier to control, said IAR communications manager Liz Key. The bear's gums were scored with wounds as a result. What's more, they had become so infected that they were filled with maggots. Years of torture had clearly taken their toll on Goldie. The other big health issue Goldie had was the hardest to treat. The poor bear was blind. It's still unclear what the exact cause of this was. It could have been due to the beatings, rope burns, or malnutrition. Considering all these medical problems, doctors had to do what they could to save Goldie's life. Tragically, the bear's eyesight loss was untreatable, and he would remain blind for the rest of his life. But there was some good news. The dental team removed his rotting teeth and treated the infection in his gums, an IAR update explained, and Goldie's reaction was heart-melting. The day Goldie realized that he could eat food without feeling pain was such a joyous one. The IAR post continued. His face lit up when he took a sip of porridge. He paused for a moment and had this amazing expression on his cute little face. There is no way we'll forget the moment he took that first tiny sip of cereal. From then on, Goldie's wounds, both physical and emotional, began to heal, and his true personality shone through. Goldie is very mischievous, Key told the dodo. He loves to try to steal food from the other bears' dens before they get to it. Now Goldie lives a happy, peaceful life and is cared for by our partners Wildlife SOS. The IAR post added. He spends his days playing with his friends and relaxing in his hammock. Goldie stands as a testament not only to humanity's cruelty, but also to its kindness. I hope you like this video. Please share it and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.